So children, today our topic is motion and time. So motion, first we are going to discuss measurement. What do you mean by measurement? Measurement is what we are going to discuss? Measurement. Measurement is the comparison of unknown quantity with some fixed quantity of the same kind. Like length, we measure in meters. Okay, the fixed quantity is what? Meter of length. And we measure like cloth, length of cloth by meter scale. Okay. And other examples like carpenter needs to measure if he's making a table or a chair, he needs to measure the wood. And vegetable vendor needs to measure vegetables. And like in the school, period changes, first period, second period. So what we require for the change of period? Time, proper time. Okay, so all these quantities which we can measure. The quantities which we can measure are called physical quantities. What do we call? Physical quantities. The quantities which can be measured are called physical quantities. Example of physical quantity, like we measure time. We measure time in seconds, hours, days, years. We measure length. We measure length in meters, centimeters, kilometers. We measure weight in kilogram, gram. We measure time we have used. We measure speed, temperature. Okay, so all these quantities are what? Physical quantities. Okay, is this clear? The quantities which we measure are called physical quantities. Time, length, weight, speed, temperature we can measure. So all these quantities are called physical quantities. Now children, we are going to discuss standard units. Standard units. Long back people used foot, the foot step, the hand span or the arm to measure length, but these units are what? Unreliable. Okay, as we have discussed in the class. Because they vary from person to person. There was a need for unit to measurement which could be uniformly used by everyone, and such units are called standard units. Children, in 1960, the General Conference of Weights and Measurement recommended that a common system of measurement should be used all over the world. This system was called SI system. And what is the full form of this SI system? It is System International D-Unites. Okay, so this is the full form of SI system. In SI system, length is measured in meters. Okay, length is measured in meters. Weight is measured in kilogram. And this always unit with the small letters. And time, seconds, temperature, Kelvin. So, and there are many more standard units like brightness of light, electric current. All they have common like standard units are there. Apart from these, we are also using like in like this SI system is used uniformly all over the world. However, in everyday measurement, other systems are also used, like CGS system. C means centimeter, G means gram, S is second. This is what CGS system. One is MKS. MKS is like standard system, meter, kilogram, second. One more system is FPS, foot, pound and seconds. Okay, these systems like regionally people they use. Okay, now children, we are coming after standard system, measurement of time. How do we measure time? Children, for time, anything that repeats, okay, that occur or appear at regular intervals can help us to measure time. Like position of the sun. Every day we see in the sky that position of the sun keeps on changing, and again the next day we see the sunrise is taking place. So this happening again and again, we can use it to measure the time. One is sand clock. First we are going to discuss about sand clock. Mostly you must have seen, it is like a box and two cups are there upside down, and they are joined from the center and tiny hole is there. Okay. A sand clock which was used by the Romans worked on the principle that all the sand from the upper chamber falls into the lower chamber in a fixed amount of time. This fixed amount of time was the unit in which time was measured by them. Okay. Second, we are going to discuss the sundial. Sundial. In the Delhi Jantar Mantar, you must have seen a big sundial. Okay, the sundial was used long ago to measure time of the day. It worked on the principle that the position of the sun in the sky changes. As we know, Earth moves, but the position of the sun keeps on changing. Okay, keeps on changing. Due to the change in the position of the sun, position and length of the shadow cast by an object also changes. Like suppose this is sundial. We are going to put a stick here. So when the sunrise is taking place, the shadow would be long. Okay, opposite side. As the sun come up in the sky, in the noon time, the shadow would be very short. Okay, so position, we come to know about the time by the position and the size of the shadow by sundial. But what is was the drawback of sundial? We cannot use it after evening when the sun is not in the sky. Now, very short thing we are going to discuss, that is simple pendulum. Simple pendulum. Okay. These clocks that measure time accurately could be made only after the discovery of this simple pendulum. And who had discovered this? Scientist Galileo Galilei. He discovered that if mass hung from a fixed point is made to swing freely, it always complete one to and fro motion in exactly the same time. And that is what simple pendulum. I am going to tell you What is simple pendulum? A simple pendulum consists of a small mass. This is mass and we call it bob. Okay, this is a made of metal ball tied to a string. Tied to a string. This is what? String. This is what? String. The other end of the string is tied to a fixed support. This is fixed support. Okay. So when the pendulum is at rest, this position is called mean position, or we mark it as O. Okay. If the bob is given us a small push from its position of rest, the pendulum starts making to and fro movements about its mean position. The time taken for one to and fro movement is always the same for fixed length of the string. The distance from the point where it is hung to the center of the bob is the length. This is the length. Okay. And children, it is going to, like if the length is 25 centimeter, okay, the time period of the simple pendulum can be changed by changing the length of the string. A pendulum of about 25 centimeter length of the string, okay, takes exactly 1 second for one to and fro motion. Now we are like this is 25 suppose, and one to and fro motion is what? This is mean position. When we make a little push to this bob, then bob start making movements. It will go in this direction, okay, from O to A, two motion, okay, and then it will come back to the mean position, then go to the other side, and this is what? B position and fro motion, okay, then it come back to its mean position from B. This is what? One oscillation from O to A, from A to O, then to B, and then come back to O. So this is what? One oscillation, and this is called one oscillation. And to complete one oscillation, the time taken by this bob to complete one oscillation is called time period. And when the length of the string is 25 centimeter, this time period is what? 1 second. And we can change the time period by changing the length of the thread or string. Okay. So the principle of this pendulum is used to make pendulum clocks, where the oscillation of the pendulum consists the movement of the hands of the clock. After that, simple pendulum clock, then the mechanical watches come. Okay, they work on different principle. Mechanical wrist watches has a balance wheel instead of pendulum, which serve the same purpose. After that, what happened? Which watches come? Electric watches. They work on the different principle. These watches have the crystal of a substance called quartz. Children, these crystals can vibrate very fast. Quartz crystal, they vibrate very fast and at a very precise rate. These vibrations are used to measure time. As we have seen, these were the vibration. We use vibration for measuring the time, and now we are using the vibrations of quartz. Okay, a quartz clock is much more accurate than a pendulum clock. One more clock I would like to tell you about, that is the stopwatch. You must have seen in the school while racing takes place. A stopwatch is used for measuring short intervals of time accurately. Nowadays, several digital watches available in the market can also be used as stopwatches, like you must have seen in your watch also. Short interval of time you can measure. Okay, so that's all, children. Thank you.